He's a clown. Jason Whitlock's a clown. Jason Whitlock is on the record as being, I love Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy is the best. He's this. Jason Whitlock is a click-chasing clown.
Oh, really? You don't say.
Yeah, he's out there calling that girl, what do you say, big like butter, sugar skin, big
peanut butter skin, and with that rack.
In the next sentence, he said that. Like, what are you talking about?
Have you ever met him?
Never. You know what? He knows my name. He's gotten me a couple times, to his credit, but he's just fishing. He's taking his little pole. He's like, maybe they'll bite and I'll get some clicks.
Right.
I try to ignore it. I tell people, actually, don't send me bad stuff about me because I have a hard time ignoring it. I don't even want to know it exists.
But you do realize that when you respond to people that take shots at you, giving them content. They're lazy because they can't create 100%. Content on their own. So let me hope he can feed me.
Yeah, and my Achilles heel is I don't give a. It's like I know I'm being played here. I know he's getting clicks, but this guy, I mean, he's a clown.
Before I get into this, I have to give a shout out to the group chat that I'm in. They know exactly who they are. So shout out to the group chat for this. And I said I was going to come at this from one particular angle when I first saw this. But then I realized after watching that clip a couple of times, I realized I can say a couple of things about this. The first one being Shannon Sharpe, you are indeed a clown for platforming the likes of Dave Portnoy. That guy is staunchly anti-black. He is very unfunny. And the main reason why I can't stand the guy is because of how he was trolling Angel Reese a couple years ago after the whole Caitlin Clark situation with the "you can't see me" thing. But she trolled him right back and he couldn't stand it. I mean, this man went on a rampage. Well, not so much a rampage, but a tirade about Angel Reese for a couple weeks. I mean, she was living rent free in his head, much like it is with some other people, but definitely at the time with Dave Portnoy. So you lose points for that, Shannon. And I think, and shout out to Town Biz, because he did a video about this with Dave Portnoy, and he said that that was one of his most least watched interviews that he has ever done on his channel. And it's like, why would you even need to do interview with Dave Portnoy or whatever? There are other people out there that you could definitely interview out there that's way better than Dave Portnoy, but I guess content is indeed content. Now let's get into the actual topic at hand. Dave Portnoy is sitting there with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay, and this is a segment right here. Now, mind you, the clip that you just saw was actually posted by the Club Shay Shay Twitter account. So whoever is running the Club Shay Shay account, it doesn't even necessarily have to be Shannon Sharpe. It could just be someone on his social media team. Clip this and put that up there on the Club Shay Shay Twitter account in case anybody wants to know where I got the clip from. And he's talking to Dave Portnoy, and they talk about Jason Whitlock. And Dave Portnoy basically says that Jason is a clown. He's click chasing, or he puts clickbait out there in order to get clicks and views and engagement. Basically everything a grifter does is straight out of the grifting playbook, which Jason Whitlock does indeed do. I mean, look at the stuff that Jason Whitlock talks about all the time, and look in the recent stuff that he's talked about, because now his new thing is talking about black fatigue, or, you know, the bastardized version of it in order to comfort white people who are buying into that ideology. So he's not even wrong on that aspect, because we've been called Jason Whitlock a clown. We've called him some other unsavory things as well. Well, speaking of unsavory, I thought it was very funny, kind of interesting when he was bringing up about Joy Taylor. That's when he was talking about comparing women to peanut butter and stuff like that. And I had to think about it. Oh, I was like, oh, that's that comment he made about when it came to Joy Taylor. So he's up there and he basically calls him a clown. He says he's never met the guy, and he says a whole bunch of other things. And then I'm sitting here saying to myself, while Dave Portnoy is calling out Jason Whitlock and calling him a clown, which he most definitely is, I'm sitting here saying to myself the same thing that he's accusing Jason Whitlock of being. The same thing could very well be said about him, because this guy does effectively the same thing. Like, this is a real pot meet kettle moment when I was looking at this clip. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, Dave Portnoy, you have a lot of nerve to say that about someone when you do the exact same thing. Like he does the as he called it, the click chasing thing, putting stuff out there, and a host of other things. I mean, you've seen the stuff that I talked about, again, going back to how he kept going in on Angel Reese so he could get clicks and views to come to his page. He was basically using her for engagement, even though he's never met her. And I find that, it's interesting that the same thing he's saying about Jason Whitlock can definitely most likely be applied to him. All I'm saying is this: if you are going to say something like that about anybody, you need to make sure that the same thing cannot be thrown back onto you. Now, I believe Jason Whitlock did do a response video, but I'm not even going to entertain that, because why? Like I just said, I already know what he's probably going to say. He said that he quote unquote responded to him and he obliterated him and Shannon Sharpe for what was said and all this, that, and the third. And I all I had to do was go look in the comments, and someone's comment really did stick out to me, and that told me all I needed to know about what he said in that 11-minute video. But I think what really stood out to me, or what made me also want to do this, is it takes me back to when I did that live about Jason being called the token by Nick Fuentes. Now, mind you, that was less than a month ago when that happened. That was just like a couple weeks ago when he said that. And of course, Nick Fuentes, he said a whole lot more than Dave Portnoy did. Now, I can't remember how Jason responded to that, but I don't think it was in the way that he did with Dave Portnoy, because I was looking at his comments again under the same video, and someone said, why didn't you obliterate Nick Fuentes? And I'm sitting there saying to myself, very good question, because he didn't come at him that way. And one thing that gets me with Jason Whitlock is when he decides that he wants to respond to people and everything, he always got to bring God into it, or he has to always bring religion into it to make him seem like he's above the fray. And it's like, Jason, you're not that guy. It's like, stop doing that. Like, people get annoyed when you do that, because it's like, now you're trying to shield yourself and trying to make yourself seem holier than thou. And those are some of the type of people I cannot stand. Like, stand on what you say. You said what you said. Like, this is the same guy that went in on Deion Sanders for pretty much a whole college football season. He did the same thing with his son Shador and Colin Kaepernick. You're noticing a pattern here. So I'm not surprised by this in the least bit. But that's the second time in a month that a PC individual, or PC adjacent in the case of Nick Fuentes, has called him out. And these are the same people who ass he kissed. And I always tell people, when people get their wake-up call, it's not going to necessarily, when I say people, I'm talking about these bootlicks. When they get their wake-up call, it's not going to come from the people who look like them, because we didn't pedestalize them. We aren't the ones that put Jason Whitlock into the spotlight. I'm sure there's black people that watch him, but we don't care really what happens to him. But it's going to be the people that they try to get all good with, who are going to be the ones that's going to bring them down a peg or two. Despite how people feel about Dave Portnoy, this, that, and the third, and I really don't care about the guy either. What he said about Jason Whitlock, we can't honestly say that is not necessarily true, even though the same thing can most definitely be applied to him. I mean, they might as well be standing in front of a mirror looking at their own reflections and just having this conversation with themselves, because they effectively are doing the same thing at the end of the day. But hey, it is what it is. I feel nothing times two in this case. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.